mostly it's fentanyl is what's killing people. I guess it's like pretty powerful shit. And on top of that, I've heard that that fentanyl goes into everything now, like heroin and cocaine and all that kind of crap. So you never know, when you're taking a drug out there, what you're taking.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of My Mom Sandy. We're your hosts. I am Josh Fasten, and the woman next to me only did the purest form of fentanyl. This is My Mom Sandy.
Fentanyl, yeah, that comes from the aborted fetuses.
It's from the stem of the fentanyl plant.
The stem of the fentanyl
It's called
plant?
fentylitis.
Yeah, where do they grow that anyway?
Mexico.
And
China.
They
and
grow
Florida.
They grow it in China. The fentanyl plant. But hello everybody.
Fentylitis.
Yes.
It's a cousin of the lettuce.
I had to make sure
Lettuce,
Josh,
cauliflower, and fentylitis.
fentanylitis. Does that and add a little bit of kale in there.
You
make it healthy.
Give like a sandwich. You can make a smoothie.
There you go.
A fenton smoothie.
By the way, do you ever make smoothies with like vegetables in them?
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, what's his name's looking for a smoothie with broccoli in it, but something that's tolerable as far as drinking.
Well, what you have to do is you have to mix. You can put a whole bunch of veggies in.
Yeah.
And then you have to throw in like a piece of fruit. Like you have to throw some out. Like you could do like broccoli, spinach, kale, fentylitis. And then you cut up an apple, or a banana, or some strawberries.
Is an apple enough to take away the?
Yeah. It'll be sweet.
Really?
Yeah. And then like you can put like a little bit of honey in. Honey, or a couple, just if you do like a handful of Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, I know. You don't have to, they can hear it.
Fan is
Just
on.
say it.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn it off?
I don't know. Should we? It's been pretty hot. What do you think?
Yeah, leave it on. Leave it. It's summer.
It's summer.
It's a summer episode,
really.
episode 78, the summer episode.
There you go. It's summertime.
Summer's here, baby.
Summer's here.
All right, so we didn't do an episode last week. We have scheduling
Hasn't
things.
it been like 2 weeks that we haven't done one?
No, I don't think so. No, it couldn't have been no, I don't think so. I think we did one, skipped a week, did 77, skipped a week, and now we're doing 78. So, but we've also been, to be completely transparent, we've also been recording on,
Fridays.
On Fridays. So that's been different because some Fridays I'm like, last Friday I was working. I was working, not all day, but you think when you whisper into the microphone, people don't hear they don't hear what you're saying?
Do they?
Write me a note. Pass it across. You're like, don't talk about my penis.
Don't talk about anything I don't want you to talk about. You know what that is?
Yeah. What is it? Let's see. Yeah. So I can read it. Yes, thank you.
Was that a good note?
Don't talk about my penis. So
that's what I said about my penis.
So anyway, so my work schedule's kind of been all over the place, but trying to get back to a more constant. But anyway, I was working last Friday, so we didn't do the episode Friday.
Well, I think also I think 1 week we did the episode on a Saturday because you did work Friday.
Yeah.
You worked all day.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I want to get into something before we get into the episode. I just want to kind of get some current events, some fentylitis. So this was something we had talked about, and I don't want to deep dive into this because I feel like we've said our piece on it. But as of the last two episodes, the last two podcast episodes, which have, because we've missed a few weeks, it's been over the last month, right? So essentially, so today is Friday, July 16th. So exactly about a month, right? So we hit June 15th. There was no more masks. We said
we're opening up.
Yeah, we said California's open. We said no more masks. Don't social distance. Touch tongues. Touch the penises. And then great. And then 2 weeks after that, they said, okay, so we're not saying that you have to wear them. It's not mandated, but you should probably wear them. And then now 2 weeks later, we're a month out from the June 15th. Just yesterday it was announced that starting Saturday, tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m., they will reinforce the mask mandate for indoor anything indoors, regardless of your vaccination status. So again, I don't want to get too into it because we've talked about the masks.
And that's only in LA County.
Yes. Oh,
Because,
that's what I'm
because
speaking
we
about,
out of 10 million people, we have 420 something in the hospital.
I will say, I saw up north. I forget if it's Sacramento. They're like 2 weeks behind. They're now saying you should be wearing masks. So you've got to imagine that in 2 more weeks, it could potentially be all of California could be full mask mandate. So Sandy, who used the purest form of fentanyl back in the 70s, go.
They didn't even have fentanyl back in the 70s.
They did. It was called fentanyl. Fentanyl.
No, I mean, if they did, man, we would have, this fentanyl crisis would be way out of hand by now.
Was that wasn't what killed Michael Jackson? That was propofol?
It was, yeah.
Propofol.
Propofol. Yeah, he used to call it his milk and cookies. Hey, give me my bottle of milk.
I don't know why people are so weird. You know what I saw today I was driving on the freeway.
I know, he is weird, huh? Or he was.
And I was driving on the freeway and there was a big, like on the side of a building, there was like a thing and it said, the original sports drink got milk. And it was like a glass container of milk. And I was like, growing up, I never thought to myself, oh, I want to go play hockey. Mom, could you fill my water bottle up with some milk? Like, that was never a thing.
Well, was it like a bottle of milk that you'd get delivered to your house?
Yeah, that's like what it looked like.
Okay, so that doesn't mean anything to you because when you were growing up, we were buying milk in cartons.
Right, but I don't look at milk as a sports drink. Oh, by the way, to go back to what's his name, yeah, I do make smoothies, but I do like I'll do a protein smoothie when I get home from the gym.
Hockey. Oh.
Or yeah, sometimes hockey. And that's just oat milk and semen. I'm just kidding. God. I was trying to
You are just so disgusting at times. Did you want me to like take a drink of my coffee?
I thought coffee was going to come out of your nose.
Spit it right into my microphone?
No, but I have this like very basic plant-based protein powder that I get at Whole Foods. So I'll do oat milk. Actually, I do like a cashew oat milk with the protein powder, banana, peanut butter, and then like some ice cubes.
So what's in the protein powder?
There's like 6 ingredients. It's like PP protein.
PP protein?
Also known as semen. Semenitis.
Oh, God.
No, it's like, I'll send you the thing on the back of it. It's like very basic. Which is what I liked. It didn't have a bunch of different shit in it, you know.
Yeah.
But then, like sometimes, I'll do like a matcha smoothie. Sometimes.
Can't you use like a fruit juice instead of the milk?
Well, the protein powder is chocolate.
Oh.
You could do water. You could 100% do water. I used to do water protein smoothies all the time.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'll do a matcha smoothie. In the mornings, I'll do banana, a little bit of honey, some matcha powder, oat milk.
What's matcha?
And some spinach.
My girlfriend's last name is Matcha, but it's actually Smaka.
Maca.
But it's
M-A-C-H-A. Yeah. Masha.
Yeah. Maka.
Masha.
Maka. Not her born name. That was her married name. So anyway, what is that?
What is what?
Maca. Matcha.
I think Maca is your friend's last name.
It is. I won't say her first name because
I know who it is.
Everybody will know.
Matcha is...
Good thing you have a phone. Could you imagine?
It's a finely ground powder of specially grown and processed green tea leaves.
Oh yeah, that's where they make matcha tea.
The green tea plants used for matcha are shade grown for 3 to 4 weeks before harvest. So usually what they do is...
Shade grown? What are they, like, put, like, shade over the trees for 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah, they put them under tents. Same thing. So then usually you have matcha plants growing here, and then you have marijuana plants growing there, and then the fentanylitis is across the way.
And then they all germinate and they pollinate each other.
You make
so when your matcha tea, you actually have
marijuana.
You actually have some marijuana and some fentanylitis.
Fentanylitis.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like something like you'd go to the doctor and you're like, I don't know, doc, my ribs have been hurting. And he's like, well, let me touch it. He's like, oh, yep, that's fentanylitis.
Fentanylitis. And to cure that, we're going to give you a little fentanyl.
A little fentanyl.
Yeah. So, yeah.
A little propofol.
How was your hockey injury?
Wait, so I'm fine. I feel great.
Good.
How was talk about the masks. We get off on all these tangents.
Oh,
So the mask mandate is back for indoor activities.
Yeah, I just think that with the big push that they're doing to try to get people vaccinated, that this is just not great PR for that. I don't know. Do you need a pen and some paper?
Sure, I'll draw you a picture. Here, give me a pad.
Well, no, I thought don't you take notes, or you just
no, it's just in my brain.
I want to give you this.
Okay, that's fine. Just keep talking to the microphone.
So the masks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. We had a whole month of freedom.
Felt good though, huh?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about going back to the mask. Matter of fact, I need to bring mine in from the car and wash it. I can't breathe in them, and I don't like wearing them.
Why don't you try the disposables? I have a whole I'll bring you one. Try it. Try it.
I have a couple of those in the car. They've been previously used, but
yeah, I don't think you want to reuse them. I think it's kind of like you use it maybe for a day, and then you cut the snippies, and then you throw it in the trash.
Oh, why do you cut the snippies?
Guess they go like when they sort them out of the trash, and then they wind up in the ocean, and then they strangle the fishies.
Oh, or the birds might eat them.
That too. That's not good.
Well, they say, yeah, like when you buy like sodas, like a 6-pack of plastics. Yeah. Didn't I used to do that when you were a kid? Me. I did that all the time. So anyway, the masks. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We had a whole month of freedom. That was wonderful. I don't like it. I don't think that it's productive. I don't think that it certainly doesn't speak well of the vaccines.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think that they really fucked up, like you just said, they really fucked up the PR, like the marketing of this, right? Because in the beginning it was, hey, get vaccinated because this is going to be your best chance at survival, right?
Yeah, but in the very beginning, before the vaccine ever came out, we had several Democrat candidates for president who said, oh, if this vaccine is made by Trump, I'm not taking it. We had the state of New York, I think, and maybe even California. They wanted to analyze the vaccine. Like Trump was in the fucking lab mixing chemicals. Oh, I think this will work now.
Like we all wake up in the morning and we're like,
his hair is now white, but we got a vaccine.
Like our skin has turned orange.
There you go. Perfect.
He was kind of a weird shade of orange though, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what that's from.
Do you think his
spray on tan?
Yeah, do you think his dress shirts, like his white dress shirts, ever had like a little ring around the collar?
Orange ring? I don't
know. Cheeto ring?
Well, that's the interesting part. Is that his natural color, or is that?
It's weird looking.
Is that like a?
Did you ever watch American Horror Story on FX?
No.
There was a season they did. I think it was American Horror Story election or something. I don't know. It was kind of like not a spoof. What's the other word? A
parody?
Kind of. Yeah, that's not the word I was looking for. But it was kind of like of everything was going on, and there's an actor named Evan Peters. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay, well he's in it, and he's like crazy in the show. And like the first episode, he like blends up Cheetos like in the blender, and he like makes like a paste, and he's like putting it on his face and shit, and he's like watching like Trump videos on repeat like on his TV, and he's like I'm the same color as you.
Oh, is this like current? I guess, huh? If you got a Trump color. So yeah, the vaccine. So anyway, yeah, we had a lot of people that threw shade on the whole vaccine thing before it even came out.
Is that like how they grow matcha?
Yep. Throw shade right on it. Anyway, so that was the first problem. Then the second problem is, we got this great vaccine and what I read the other night is that they only followed when they tested the vaccine, they only followed up with the people for like 2 months. So any long-term side effects that might have developed after that, I mean, I can't believe that they're not, seriously, they would have a year's worth of data on the vaccine, the efficacy. That's really important. Because that's what I'm hearing now too, is that maybe it's possible that the vaccine is not effective anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that is the case.
Well, here in California, we have, it's like 400, in LA, we have 400 and something cases, 427, I think. And what they're reporting now, I don't know if you can believe them or not, but they're reporting that all of those people have not been vaccinated.
Right. So according to covid19.lacounty.gov,
which we can all believe, it's gospel. Go ahead.
As of July 13th, fully vaccinated people, there was 0.09% of fully vaccinated people tested positive. 0.0045% of fully vaccinated people were hospitalized, and 0.0005% of fully vaccinated people died, which is far less, the efficacy, why can't I say that word?
Efficacy. I don't know.
The effectiveness of the vaccine, they were saying was like 92%, which would have left 8%.
Yeah,
right?
but I know, but for how long is it 92%?
Well,
see, because here's the thing, Josh.
The people that are winding up sick, that are winding up in the hospital or that are getting COVID are people who are not vaccinated. So what it seems...
but that's what they're telling you. But here's something that contradicts that. In Israel and in the UK, now I'm not going to speak of the UK because they've used mostly the AstraZeneca vaccine there. But in Israel, they're having a huge spike in coronavirus cases. And they primarily use the Pfizer vaccine there. So what is up with that? And these are people that have been vaccinated. So there's something going on with the effectiveness of the vaccine. And it's very possible that if you got the vaccine like last December, that maybe by July, you have no more immune system to fight it. I don't know.
And I also think that you have, the other elephant in the room is that you have the Delta variant, right? Or potentially another variant. Right?
Well, there's going to be another variant.
Totally. But that's what I'm saying is that, it's not like we're comparing apples to apples here and saying, okay, well, here we have one version of COVID and then we have this vaccine and how long does that version, does that vaccine protect against that version of COVID?
Well, I heard an interesting, explanation today on the radio where this doctor was saying that, like, if you have the vaccine, you're vaccinated for 50 different, strain type things. I guess on the outside of the coronavirus cell, there's all these little things. I don't know what they call them, but I
think prickly pears.
Yeah, prickly pears. And you're immune to all 50 of those with the vaccine. But if you actually have the virus, you actually have 1,400 of those little things. 1,400 different little things.
Prickly pears.
And that would make you immune to variants. So,
yeah,
I mean,
look,
you got the best case scenario.
Yeah,
you got the vaccine and you've had
You should have been hanging out with me when I had it. I
tried not to. That's just it.
I think, again, the big problem is that we just don't know. We don't have enough information. But I think that the marketing department of the CDC or the whatever, I don't think that Biden should have ever come out and said, hey, mask up or vaccinate, right? Because that's not true. That's not a true statement, right? So it just should have never been pushed out that way. I also think that June 15th, the Delta variant was happening. We knew that the Delta variant was there.
I know.
So why come out and say, hey, masks are coming off June 15th, to then turn around 2 weeks later and say, well, we really should be wearing masks indoor. And then to turn around 2 weeks after that and say, well, you
probably
have
should.
to. No, not even that.
Now you have to. Yeah.
Right? Like what they should have done is just come out and said, hey, we know that everyone wants to get back to normal. That's what we're pushing for. We all want to do that as well. Getting vaccinated is helping. Numbers are starting to creep up again. We're going to monitor this for the next month, see where we're at. If the numbers look good, then we'll take the masks off. Let's look at it after they go. But they didn't do that. And then they took the masks off and now look where we are. Now people are like, well, fuck this. This sucks.
And so I guess the question is, and I know I'm going to sound a little bit selfish, but by wearing a mask, who am I protecting? I'm protecting the person who decided not to get a vaccine, which is fine. But I feel like I've put my life at jeopardy by getting the test tube vaccine, by becoming the rat in the fucking lab.
Was that Smashing Pumpkins song? I'm just a rat. I'm just a rat in a cage. But
do you understand what I'm saying? So now I have to protect the unvaccinated who didn't take the same risk as I did.
Yeah, I think it's horrible. I think it's like, look, what then?
And on top of that, didn't we say and didn't we prove by the lockdowns and the mask wearing and the no mask wearing in, say, Florida compared to California? Didn't we say that masks really didn't work? Masks really didn't make a difference.
We have to look at where we were in December and January, LA County specifically, right? We were masked up. Salons were closed. Restaurants were
from November, from Thanksgiving on. Yeah, from Thanksgiving
right. That's what I'm saying.
on.
That's what I'm saying. November, December, January, shit was closed. I didn't go back to work till February, right? What happened in those months? We had the highest COVID cases in the entire universe, in fucking
we
LA.
were
We were the epicenter.
And we were all wearing masks.
Right, we were masked up. We were inside.
We were
not
inside.
Doing anything.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. So that didn't seem to work, did it?
And I agree with you. It's like, okay, so we went out and look. This isn't is getting vaccinated the right thing to do? This goes back to we went out, we got vaccinated, fine, great. They're saying the vaccine is effective. The vaccine protects you, which, according to some numbers, that's what it appears is happening. They're saying, well, the people who are winding up in the hospital, the people who are winding up with COVID are the people who are not vaccinated. Okay, that's a bummer. But that, my friends, that's the what's it called? That's the sacrifice they got to take. They don't want to get vaccinated.
Okay,
so I got to put a mask on. I've got to be miserable for my 10-hour work days.
Right.
I got to wear a mask because Joe Schmo didn't want to get vaccinated.
Right. Joe Schmo should be responsible for Joe Schmo.
Right. If Joe Schmo winds up in the hospital, like I just saw the best headline. It said vaccinated people are the ones spreading the Delta variant, and they don't know it because we all have it and we're asymptomatic because we've been vaccinated. So vaccinated people should be wearing masks so that the unvaccinated people don't get COVID. It's like, no, motherfuckers, the unvaccinated people are the ones that should be wearing masks or don't go out of the house or go get vaccinated.
Yeah. Well, again, I know, I understand people's hesitancy in getting the vaccine, but you have to understand that, it's kind of like when you were a kid and I chose not to get you the whooping cough vaccine.
Whooping.
But, when I signed
I
the
got
papers,
one, right? I didn't get the second one.
Yeah, I think you got one. Well, there's 4 of them. There's three like 2 months apart, maybe 1 month apart, 2 months apart. And then there's a booster when you're like,
so if anyone has whooping cough,
but what I had to,
don't hang out with me.
But what I had to sign papers at your school that that I agreed that should there be a whooping cough,
whooping.
It's
in the back of your throat.
Whooping.
It's like a Hebrew. It's a Hebrewian word.
I can't do Hebrew.
Baklava.
Mitzvah.
You know what he's having there? Bar mitzvah. Kind of sounds like
Bas mitzvah. Yeah, I can't. I also can't.
Sounds like Klingon.
I also can't roll my tongue either. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know. Do you want me to play it back?
Yeah, could you play it back so I could get my train of thought going again?
Whooping cough.
Oh yeah, I had to sign papers that said that should there be an epidemic that I would pull you out of school and keep you home.
The other thing,
which I would do. So basically, what I'm saying is that if you're not going to get the vaccine, you understand that you can't live your life normally. And I will say this, that what's his name has not gotten the vaccine. And what's his name was telling me, he plays like a lot of golf on the golf course and stuff. And, they don't wear masks out there. They don't have to. But what he was saying to me was that it's kind of weird because when people see that he doesn't have a mask on, they automatically must assume that he's vaccinated. And they go like to shake his hand like the old days. And it's, he's like, but I don't even know that I would shake hands with anybody anyway. I don't do a lot. I don't do a lot of handshaking. The other thing that I think is important, and then I want to move on from this, is that COVID's not going away. I think that's something that's important to remember here is that, we have thousands of flu deaths a year. We have thousands of people that, die in car crashes. We have thousands of people that, whatever. And we're not turning, where were masks when all these motherfuckers were coming in and getting their hair cut December 15th? And they were like, oh yeah, I had strep throat for the last 3 weeks and I just need to get my hair cut. And now I'm like, great, you're going to ruin my Christmas by coming in, Yeah, people don't, I don't know. I think that masks are just a horrible thing.
Sirens are on our end.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's police activity somewhere.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that we have to get to a point, and maybe it's not right now, right? But we have to get to a point where COVID cases are going to go up and down. That's how it's always going to be. COVID is here now, right? COVID is not, we're not getting rid of COVID, so watching like 10 episodes and I'm like, well, COVID's gone.
COVID's gone.
Fuck me silly, you know?
What were they? What's her name? Brown. What's her name?
Barbara?
No, the psychic who predicted
Sylvia
Brown.
Oh, that it would come and go.
That it would come and go. Well, so far it came, but it hasn't gone.
You bitch.
Yeah.
But you know, so what? Every time the cases go above, you know what?
I know.
100 or something, and then now we're going to mask up again.
Yeah.
And I think you brought up a good point before we even started recording it. It's like, well, you know what? So in another 2 weeks, are we going back into lockdown?
Yeah.
Well, we showed that didn't do anything. You know, all you're doing is ruining businesses. And I'll tell you something. I'm going to say it right now. You continue to close down hair salons.
Fuck with my business.
With you. No, you continue to close down hair salons, and you force us out of business. And I'll tell you what, you're not going to be able to get your hair cut anywhere.
You're going to be a mess. You're going to be looking really crappy.
There's going to be no hairstylists left, because we're all going to go on. We're all going to get other jobs. So careful. Just be careful out there.
Or you could go on unemployment.
Talking to you, Gavin Newsom. Okay.
Really? Well, Gavin will get his hair cut regardless.
Right,
him and Nancy Pelosi go to the same hairstylist.
All right, so let's get into some meat and potatoes here. We had mentioned this at the end of last episode 77.
Yeah, and I forgot.
I know you did. It's okay. But we had talked about conspiracy theories, and I said, "Oh, well, we'll do a whole episode. We're not going to do a kind of whole episode, but we can kind of finish this episode out with, what do you think?" Because I think we're both pretty like big on a good. We both like a good conspiracy theory. You know, give me a good.
Doesn't everybody?
No, some people don't. I don't. I feel
they just go, "Oh, that's hogwash."
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to plenty of people, and like, you know, or like. Talk about like the Kennedy thing and the Kennedy assassination. They're like, oh yeah, he was shot by the guy up in the building, and I'm like, or was he? You know? They're like, of course he was. That's the guy was the guy arrested. And I'm like, so, you know, I wanted, and then we talked about JFK Jr. who died in that he was in a plane crash, right? Like his plane crashed over the ocean or something.
Yeah.
That family was like cursed.
Oh, we talked about Ted Kennedy. That was Chappaquidda. That was he was. I wish I had looked up the details, but apparently he was drinking.
Is that an iPhone next to you? Wow, that is a nice iPhone. Did you get a new iPhone?
It looks just like the old one.
Wow.
How could you even tell that it's new?
Well, it's red. And look at that beautiful case.
And watch. This baby can surf. See, you got the rubber.
I have a heavier phone, though.
I know, but you got rubber. I'm telling you.
I'm what is this on your back? I am jealous of your phone case.
Well, you bought it for me, and it's very attractive, but it is slippery. I tell you, you put it on the countertop in the kitchen.
Don't put it on the countertop.
That's where I usually have it.
All right, so what happened to Ted Kennedy?
So Ted Kennedy was out at a party in Chappaquidda is in Massachusetts. You know, the hometown of the Kennedys, or the home state of the Kennedys. Anyway, I don't know all the details, but he was out drinking. He gave this gal a ride home, and he was in a car accident. And I think his car went into the river.
And he died? That's how he died?
No, he didn't die. The girl died. But he didn't go for help. He showed up back at home 5 hours later. You know, they were going to keep it on the hush hush. What the fuck, man? You just killed somebody. And of course, did he ever go to jail for that? Oh no, he's a Kennedy. I mean, I'm sorry. And that's one of the reasons he never ran for president, because all you got to do is bring that up. Did you just look it up on your?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't.
Oh, well, you might have to go to DuckDuckGo. They may not want you to see that.
I Googled Ted Kennedy. So I was trying to.
Oh no, you gotta. Chappaquidda.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Kennedys are, that's an interesting family there, Well,
and then when Jack was apparently president, there was all sorts of shenanigans, I guess, going on with other women and stuff, and the White House. And back in the day, the press covered for the White House, kind of like they do for Biden now. They cover for you, whatever has gone wrong, or they don't they don't want the general public to know. They won't tell. What's that look for?
I'm not even doing anything.
Okay.
I like you slip little things in. I like how you do it. You're like, well, not all politicians are crooked, just Trump, but everybody else is nice. Can I give you a tattoo on your hand?
No, I don't.
So I don't. I think yes.
The Marilyn Monroe thing. With the Kennedys.
Look, I'm sure Jack Kennedy was sleeping with many different women,
and Bobby, I think too, wasn't he, with Marilyn? Or were they just good friends?
I think they just played tennis together on Sunday mornings.
They just played tennis together, and then he put that drug. Well,
What?
you know, that's a whole thing too.
I don't think Bobby Kennedy killed Marilyn Monroe.
No,
the Marilyn Monroe thing is a great conspiracy.
Yeah.
Because she died. I mean, very mysterious. I gotta believe in some way, shape, or form, knowing what I know now, talking to the people that I know,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't be surprised if the mob had something to do with all three of those deaths.
Why would the mob kill Marilyn Monroe? Well, maybe she knew too much.
Because I think she knew exactly. I think she was in bed, literally.
Yes.
With you like that?
Figuratively and
Yeah.
literally.
Literally laying in bed. They're like,
Yeah.
Marilyn, are you busy right now? She's like, I'm literally
I'm in bed
bed.
with John. Or Jack, whatever you want to call him.
Could you imagine like how embarrassing? Like, remember when she sang "Happy Birthday"?
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you give it to us?
No.
Come on, give it to
no.
us. Here you go.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Could you imagine like being Jack Kennedy, sitting next to your wife, right?
When some woman's
In
doing it.
your head, you know, you probably shagged
Just
this
fucked
chick
her
last night, right?
really.
And then she comes out on stage with this like I heard she had to get like the dress had to be like sewn up around her.
Yeah.
Like that's how tight it was.
Doesn't
And
surprise
she's sitting
me.
there, she's fucking seducing you with this breathy thing.
Yeah.
I would just be sweating buckets, you know? I would be like, oh,
Who
boy,
knows?
you know?
I don't know
Jackie's
how.
sitting there, she's like, this is kind of strange, huh? She's just kind of weird how she's doing that. And Jack's like, no, this is totally fine.
She's just enamored with the president.
She sings like this to everybody.
No, it's because I'm the president. She thinks that's like so cool.
Jackie's like, how weird. You know, she's doing that thing with her lips. It was, that's a strange thing. No, honey, I don't know what you're
I don't
talking
know
about.
what you're talking about. I didn't see that. You know, the interesting part about
You could
Meryl-
literally wring out my dress shirt. I would be just sweating so
well, it'd
much.
be interesting to see. I'm sure there is some video of him listening to that. Wouldn't
He's
you
like,
think?
oh boy, this is uncomfortable.
If
you know?
we have the video of her singing it, don't we? Wouldn't we have the video of him sweating bullets to it?
I don't know. I think there was only one camera back then. They didn't have like multiple.
They have
angles,
multiple angles.
Like they had to take that camera and like turn it and refocus it on John.
John,
you know?
and it took too long.
He's
By
like-
that time, the song was over.
The Secret Service guy's like, sir, you okay? He's like, could you give me a couple more buckets? I filled these up with my sweat. It's hot in here, you know?
The interesting part about the Marilyn Monroe death was I've heard that that she died of an overdose, but there was nothing in her stomach, and there were no like needle marks on her. And so they suspect that maybe it was like inserted into her body.
I didn't hear that. I thought that they did find stuff. I feel like I have to sneeze. Hold on.
Uh-oh. He's going to sneeze, folks. Oh, he kind of stifled it a little.
That was my podcast sneeze.
That was his podcast sneeze. I turned on the sneeze button for you.
Thank you. Marilyn Monroe autopsy. Autopsia?
Autopsy. Yeah, there's a show that I used to be able to watch. It was called, I don't know what it was called. The Last Hours of...
That's a good one.
Is that what it was called?
They do have that. That is the show, yeah.
I mean, this guy, they would talk about the last hours, and then they do an autopsy, and this guy, this known forensic, whatever they call him, would do the autopsy.
So during the last few weeks of her life, Marilyn showed signs of trouble. Prior to her death, this is from einvestigator.com. She was in the process of shooting for the film Something's Got to Give with actors Dean Martin
and something did give. Go
George
ahead.
Cukor. Cukor?
I don't know.
Kukra.
I don't know.
Is that a Jewish word?
I don't know.
Klingon. Considered to be an ill-fated film from the very beginning, Marilyn often failed to show up on set because of sickness caused by mixing sleeping pills with alcohol. The film was never completed.
All right. Well, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, she was
getting. Don't try to verify it online. I'm just telling you this.
No. But like, her psychiatrist was giving her barbiturates to help her relax. Joe DiMaggio came over. He was fucking, schmooching.
I could use some barbiturates. Do you have any?
Housekeeper found her at 4:30 in the morning. Autopsy report. States she died of acute barbiturate poisoning due to ingestion of overdose. He states that the cause of death
just one person's opinion.
Deputy medical examiner of the Los Angeles County Coroner's Mortuary performed the autopsy on August 5th, 1962. In the report, he states that the cause of death was a self-administered overdose of sedative drugs. In addition, the mode of death is probable suicide. The toxicologist determined that she took a lethal dose of Nembutal, a drug used to treat anxiety, nervousness, and tension. In addition, she took a large dose of chloral hydrate, a drug used as a sedative. As part of the investigation into her death, the psychiatric investigative team revealed their opinion about her life situation and why they thought it led her to take her own life. Yeah, I don't think that...
Well, I don't like that theory. I like my conspiracy theory better. That somebody was involved, that it was a murder.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Look,
Do you think she committed suicide?
I think...
I mean, she had everything going for her, for God's
right,
sakes.
I know, but you look at these things. By the way, I'll get into this in a second. I think that when you look at some of these people, especially someone like Marilyn Monroe, who was very famous, you know, she was probably the first real sex icon, you know, she had gotten herself, I think, in, I don't want to say like the wrong company, but, you know, with like a lot of high profile. I mean, look, even just between Joe DiMaggio and Jack Kennedy, I mean, you know, two big name people there, you know, and then whatever was going on with Bobby. By the way, that would be so weird. Like if Sister Sam was a brother and I had like dated someone and Sam was like, you know, I think I'm going to call her up. I'd be like, not a chance, you know? And you think Jack was ever like, hey Bobby, why don't you back off a little bit? Okay. Yeah.
I would think that the first person who got her would be cool with it,
right.
But the second person would be like, "Oh, seriously? Like I get the seconds?"
Like you think Bobby was ever like, "Who does it better, me or Jack?"
Oh, I'm sure one of them was saying.
Why are you so far away from your mic?
I'm sure one of them was saying that. I'm sure there was some competition.
But I think
look,
I think we've spoken about this kind of thing before, where typically, right, if you go back to like the Elisa Lam case. Like we had this whole episode about it. We're like, oh, this fucking happened. She was probably carried up here and she was fucking raped and this and that. And it's like, realistically, like she had she had mental health problems, right?
Yeah. Things that they didn't tell you in the very beginning.
She got in, she took her clothes off and she left the fucking thing open, you know?
Yeah. But she took her clothes off because she was in the water.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that sometimes it's just the more simple version of what actually happened. It's not this big, you know, crazy over the top thing. So I think in Marilyn Monroe's case, chances are, you know, she was probably stressed. She probably had problems sleeping. She probably,
well, and you know, that's the other thing.
She probably had tons of anxiety and whatever. So she probably had all these prescription things. And she was like, well, I'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'll wash it down with a little bit of Jack Daniels or whatever was the big thing. And she doesn't wake up.
Well,
you know?
And on top of that, she might have woke up later and thought, "Oh, I didn't take my meds.
I'll take some more.
Yeah, take them again." I
think you get into those situations where you have things that happen like that are accidental, and it sucks. It's like fuck, really, like you know, and you know, or even like the David Carradine, you know, the actor David Carradine.
Yeah,
Carradine. David Carradine. I
thought he was still alive.
No, he's gone.
You mean the Kung Fu guy?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He was found.
Oh, he was auto asphyxiation. Yeah.
But like that's not.
Well, that's a conspiracy theory too, wasn't it? That there was.
No, I'm pretty sure that was like he was doing.
You don't think people were?
He was doing some freaky shit. I mean, he died in Bangkok.
In Bangkok, I know you don't think that. I mean, I think that there was a story out there at the time that somebody did this. Some people did this to him. Because was he found hung or just like a belt around his neck with a heart on?
My understanding was that he was found in like a compromising position.
Well, what the hell's a compromising position when you're alone?
Well, no, I mean, that's a thing. I don't partake in it.
Tie your legs up to the post of the bed. I mean, I don't know.
You get yourself into a little.
I mean, what, put handcuffs on. I don't know.
You get yourself into a right angle and
put a ball in your mouth and tie a gag around you.
What do I got? I got a ball. I got some jacks. I got a necktie.
Well, let me see what I can do with all this.
And I got a piano. I got some piano keys. Let
me think. Yeah, they never really told you what the compromise position was.
Well, I think he was, my understanding, right? I haven't looked this up, but like my understanding was that he was engaging in the act of masturbating while cutting off your airflow
with like a
some sort of a belt, a handkerchief,
tie.
A necktie. I guess you could probably put your arm up like this.
But how hard would that? I mean, somebody could kill him and then
they could stage it and make it look like that.
Yeah,
of course,
I mean, if they pull that necktie real tight, what difference does it make if he does it or somebody else does it?
100%. My understanding of the situation was that it was an accident. I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't looked up that case file in a while. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But I think, if you go back and you look at these, these conspiracies, these great, interesting conspiracies over the years, you look at like the Kennedy assassination and, that is something that very well could just have been one gunman in a building, however many feet, however many yards away who got a few good shots off.
Sharpshooter from Russia.
I don't think he was a sharpshooter though.
I think he was.
I think they said he was.
He had military background.
Yeah, but I thought they said he was like a bad shot. That was like what fed into the conspiracy that there was more people involved. And look, and I remember talking to your dad about it, to my grandpa, to Poppy about it.
What did my dad say about it?
Well, I used to ask him. I'm like, isn't it weird that, because I was really hung up on the fact that if you watch the Kennedy, the assassination tape, which by the way, I mean, think about that. Not. Think about how fortunate it is that we have that tape. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine not having the tape? And it just would be something people would have to talk about. You would get the story of what it was, of
Probably
how it
a good
looked.
thing it wasn't in color though, huh?
It is in color.
Wasn't back in the day.
It's a color video. It's color.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not Technicolor.
Is that okay?
But it's color.
All right, I remember seeing black and white.
Yeah, there are some.
I mean, maybe they've enhanced it.
Maybe there are some black and white videos from that day as well. But I think the actual Zapruder film, I believe, was always in color.
Yeah, my dad really got really freaked out when that happened. We were living in Pennsylvania, and he was not working for the CIA at the time. But
can we just call it the agency? I like it better.
The agency. Yeah. That's why they call the monarch in England the firm.
Yeah, it just sounds cooler.
It does. So he was working for the agency, but he wasn't at the time. But he got real weird about, we stayed home from school for a few days, and he didn't really want us to go out, and because he was afraid that something was going to happen to the country because the president was taken down. It was a very weird thing. And thank God we haven't had to go through it again,
Yeah, I mean, I think about that, and I think about all the different, and we spoke about this, but all the different things that led up to that very moment, right? With like,
well, what did my dad say? Did my dad think it was just Lee Harvey Oswald?
Well, I think one of the things, yeah, he did. And I think one of the things that I would ask him about all the time was, if you watch the video, it looks like Kennedy's head, it looks like he gets shot from the front, and it goes back,
Yeah.
And
how do they explain that?
Well, what Poppy, this was years and years ago, but from my understanding, what Poppy was saying is that he goes, when the body gets hit by a bullet, there's no right or wrong way. It's just depending on how far away the body gets hit by it, what kind of gun it is, what kind of bullet it is, that those all play a part in how the body reacts to it,
Yeah.
So what Poppy was saying is, you can't explain the presence of a second shooter from the front or the grassy knoll.
Yes.
Just based on the fact that Kennedy, went back, that his head went back. Cause he's like, look, it's very possible that
Did you go forward first and then go back?
I mean, we'd have should we pull the video up?
Yeah, it's all right.
But I felt like the same thing with like 9/11. Like when 9/11 happened, it was like, oh shit, like what does this mean? Like, and I remember I went to class that day, and like they like evacuated Cal State Long Beach, and they were like, everyone go home, and then it was like fucking shit trying to get off the campus. But it was like, it was that same feeling of like, oh shit, are they, is all the, are all the big buildings, under attack?
And they thought that at the time, I think there was some stuff, there was some concern about planes flying from, cause where did these planes leave from? Boston, right? Didn't they all?
Something like that, yeah.
Didn't they all leave from the same airport? One was the two were going to New York, or I don't know where they were going, but they were talking about the possibility of something like that happening in LA. I don't think I took Sam to school that day. It was like crazy. It was like, but there's people that think that the 9/11 stuff was done by our government.
There's people think that Neil Armstrong.
Oh yeah, he didn't walk
on the moon. It was a sound set.
Yeah.
in up in LA.
Yeah. That's kind of weird, huh?
I mean, look,
didn't what's his name, Branson, just go somewhere in space?
See, when you say what's his name, I'm like,
oh, I'm talking about real what's his name? Didn't Branson just go into space?
Yeah, I think that's a movie.
You don't think that's real?
No, no.
We could plan a whole thing behind that.
But I mean, even if you go and you look at, I was looking up, the greatest conspiracy theories of all time, and like, I think number one is. On that list is the Kennedy assassination. Yeah. But it's followed very closely by the whole Roswell, New Mexico, the UFO stuff, the alien thing, because, what a
we don't know anything about that.
No. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, what a great conspiracy plot, It's like, how fucking weird is that? Like we talked about, like, oh, they called like the funeral home in Roswell. They're like,
we need some little caskets.
So please. We need some caskets. And they're like, okay, great. We're about 5'9", 5'11", 6'1". No.
About 4.
You have some small ones?
12.
Oh, sure. Like for some teenagers?
312. That's 4.
Smaller. Maybe like 2'7",
why don't we know anything about that? Because, weren't we supposed to get some big, I love this. And that last bill that was passed by Congress, we were going to get some really good information about UFOs. Well, where the fuck is the Roswell stuff? Why wasn't that declassified?
Well, because the Roswell stuff, see, here's the problem with the Roswell stuff. The Roswell stuff is that
it's a secret.
Right, exactly. Like that's the issue. Yeah. Is that they're saying
we don't want you to know, and because we don't want you to know,
you'll never know.
And we would mean the government.
Right. Is that they'll say, hey, this
Roswell what? Huh?
No, they'll just say,
what's
hey,
Roswell?
We had some weather balloons, right? And the weather balloons crashed.
And they had little babies in them.
We had unborn fetuses,
That's right.
And, the farmer, meanwhile, is just like, he's like, well, I'm picking up, patches of steel that are like changing shapes in my hands. And there's little creatures crawling that are, that you guys are stepping on and getting baby caskets for. Like, it's two drastically different stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think.
Who to believe, right?
It's crazy.
I don't get why the government doesn't get why we don't believe them when they tell us stuff.
Well, and the disappointing thing about the big UFO report that just came out was basically
they told us nothing.
All that it basically was the government saying like, yes,
yeah, they're probably UFOs.
There are unidentified flying objects that we don't know what they are.
Yeah.
That's like what it is, and it's like, well, guys, yeah, duh.
We all knew that already.
Are you kidding me?
It took you this long to figure that out.
Like, gee, thanks for the report. I could have put that on a 3x5 card,
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think they know more than they're telling us. See, that's the one thing I learned with my father.
Did he ever say anything about UFOs? Because he was in the agency. I felt like he never knew, like, he was in, like...
but my brother used to fly airplanes. He used, like, fighter jets. He might know something about, he might have seen some UFOs. I don't think my dad ever saw UFOs that I know of.
We've said his name before. Dan, right?
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
If we haven't, then his name's Stan.
Well, he doesn't have the same last name as me, so.
True. I'm talking to him. I'm like, so Dan, like, what,
any UFOs?
Any UFOs?
In your past?
Blink twice. Say no, but blink twice.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. I think there's more information out there that we don't know about, like the whole Roswell thing. I mean, why don't we know about that?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that addressed in this big dump of information?
I want
from
to
the
I want to
government?
have something like that where, and maybe it's like when I die, like I want to have something where like there's a secret, like, or like a buried treasure. That'd be
there you
good,
go.
right? Like where like I'm dying.
Cash,
Yeah, like in a box, gold bars.
kind of like Shawshank Redemption.
Like I want to like write like a letter or like,
If you're reading this,
yeah,
I
am
must be gone.
Yeah, you will find my life savings buried in a belt box.
In a belt box.
Yeah, it's like a box like a belt comes in.
Yeah. Well, that's not a very big one. Can we do a bigger box of that?
In a lunch pail.
There, that's better.
Under a rock that looks slightly out of place.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
What do you think makes like a great conspiracy? It's interesting, right? I mean, if you really think about it, like,
Well, we have one going on right now with the whole coronavirus origination.
origination?
Yes. Like, where did it come from? I mean, we were told it came from the wet market. And then, some of us in this country heard that it might have come from the Wuhan lab of virology, where they make fentanyl.
You
by
know,
the way.
originally when they were talking about wet markets.
Yeah.
You
Did
know?
you think that had something to do with sex?
No, God, you are gross. You are so disgusting.
I don't. Well, what would you think?
No,
a wet market
I was like, it must be an outside market and it must rain a lot, and it like never fully dries. There's probably like tons of mildew in the wet market.
Yeah, I didn't think that, but I don't think I thought that the wet market meant like that they were like. I mean, I don't even know what it means really. They just.
I think it's just like anything you want.
But why is it called a wet market?
My understanding was that because they're like you
Aren't they,
walk
like,
up.
hose shit down.
Well, yeah, but like you walk up and you're like, oh, I'll take a couple of those chicken heads, and like they pull the chickens out from the back and they're like alive, and they just cut the heads off and like hand them to you, and then they like bleed out all over the street.
Yeah, and then they, like, hose
the guy
it
comes
down,
and
don't
hoses
they?
out after.
Yeah.
It was like disgusting. It's so gross.
Well, it's interesting because they actually. Well, I think in China they do like they have more strange animals and stuff. I mean, like bats and stuff. But like even on my 90 Day Fiance show where they've done like the.
I like that it's not 90 Day Fiance, it's your 90 Day Fiance show. Like you're like an executive producer. You know that show I do, 90 Day Fiance.
I should be. We'll talk about conspiracy theories. I think they're all conspiracies of that show. Anyway, but like you go to Nigeria or some of these Middle Eastern countries, and it's the same type of thing where you go and you pick out your chicken and they behead it right there. I don't think they hose things down, but I don't know which is worse.
It's just disgusting.
Yeah, well, even in Mexico, when we went on that, oh, you didn't go with us?
No.
Oh yeah, even in Mexico when we went, where did we go last? We went to Cabo San Lucas last. It was a cruise, and right off the dock where you get off the boat, they have a big, they've got all sorts of things in there. But one of the things they have is a market. They don't kill the animal right there, but you certainly see things hanging on hooks and stuff like that. Yeah,
I'm good. I went to San Felipe years ago.
Where's San Felipe?
It's in Mexico. We did this spring break trip that we got hired. I was in a band, and we got hired to play this like club for the spring break trip. It was miserable. We had to drive down, drive home. We like rented this RV, and I was like so sketched out about, like I still am. Like we went to Mexico. We would like go into Tijuana when we were kids. Cause like you would like, cause we would go down to San Diego for the Comic-Con every year. And then you would be like, oh, we're going to Tijuana. I thought you and Dad were buying drugs. That's why we had to go into Tijuana.
No.
And,
we bought them on American soil.
And then you would say shit to me. Like you'd be like, hey, so don't eat anything. Don't touch anything. Don't drink anything. And I'm like, where are we? What is this?
We're in a third world country.
And you're like, and you're like, well, our stomachs can't like take the water the way that, and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, they don't,
like who would want to come down here?
Well, I'm sure it's not that way in every part of Mexico, but in the poorer parts it is. And it's not just Mexico. I mean,
it was a dump.
I mean, even in Jamaica, when we went on that cruise, I think we probably told you not to drink stuff. I mean, bottled water.
Yeah, well,
you can drink. You didn't get off the ship, did you?
Yeah, I think I like walked down the runway And I was like, this is nice. I think I got like a hat with dreadlocks attached to it.
Oh yeah,
And I was like,
that.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back on the boat
I'm
now.
getting back on the boat.
But like, the thing about, San Felipe, like when we did that, I packed a loaf of bread, like 6 bananas and a jar of peanut butter. Yeah. And I lived, that's all I ate the whole time I was there. Because I was like, I'm so fucking stressed about, like, we'd walk out of our hotel, you walk down these streets and there's like guys with like, like the stick through the meat, and the meat's like spinning and it's like being like heated, and they're just like cutting fucking shit off, and there's flies everywhere. And I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. No, you have to go to like reputable restaurants or.
I've heard Cabo is really nice now. I've heard Cabo is like beautiful. There's like Nobu, like sushi restaurants in Cabo.
Cabo was nice when we went.
Like all my clients are like, you got to go to Cabo. You got to check it out. And I'm like, really? They're like, you get off the plane or whatever and you go to the hotel and you have everything in your hotel. Like you don't, it's,
The only thing I don't like about Mexico is that when we went down there, we stopped in Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta and Cabo, and it was a beautiful cruise and I really enjoyed it. But I noticed when we were in Puerto Vallarta, we hired a taxi cab to take us around and show us, kind of what, the beaches and stuff like that. And I remember the taxi driver, a very nice young man, but kept telling us things like, this is where the rich Americans live. This is where the rich Americans live. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you may think we're rich, but we're really not. I mean, just because I'm down here on a cruise doesn't mean I'm rich. But it was kind of a weird thing. And I remember like years and years ago, I think it was on the island of St. Croix in the Caribbean. They had, again, it's the type of thing where even Jamaica's the same way, where they have that, most of the people are very poor and they live in, huts, and you see the poor side of the city or the town. And then you go to the nice big resort, which is like beautiful and gorgeous. And people from all over the world who can afford to go there, go there. They're not terribly expensive, but by Jamaican standards or standards of St. Croix, they are, something that the people that live on those islands can't afford. So in St. Croix, there was something that happened where several, tourists were killed by the native people. And it was kind of like a rebellion of that, you're rich and I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's got to be super weird to be in some of these countries and some of these like cities or towns or whatever. And you have these like, these beautiful hotels, these monstrosity hotels, right? That you can never even come close to staying in. And you just see all these,
you could work there.
You could work there, right? And you see all these, and and maybe some of the people probably can't, know?
Maybe.
So yeah, I mean, it's got to be really strange to see, it makes you feel like, we're fortunate to have what we have,
But it's kind of glaring for them. I mean, for us, it's, for us, it's not a big deal, but for the people that live there and live in poverty, it's glaring. And I can't help but think that there would be some animosity towards that. However, that's how those islands and those countries make their money.
Yeah.
So if they didn't have that, then these people would probably be even poorer,
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of just, I don't know how we got off that, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I asked you what makes a good conspiracy.
And I said we're in one right now.
And then we went into
so wherever.
All right.
Yeah.
So what makes a good conspiracy?
Well, I think
what is it, right? What is it about something like that, like the Kennedy assassination or Marilyn Monroe's death or
the Wuhan lab. I mean, the Wuhan lab. The Wuhan lab thing is, what makes it seem like a conspiracy theory is because it seems like a very plausible thing that this could have happened there, not in the wet market, but that this coronavirus could have been created accidentally in the lab.
But why though? You know what I'm saying? Like
because it's a lab that's there because they were working with bats. They were working on coronaviruses. They have a record of being sloppy and have been warned by, I don't know, international organizations that something could potentially happen.
But just in general, though, right? Like, not a specific theory. What makes,
Well, I think what makes it even better is the fact that there's people that are working to make it not known. That people are saying, oh, that's just hogwash. That's a conspiracy theory. Whenever you say it's a conspiracy theory, my thought is, what the fuck are you hiding? What's in it for you and what are you hiding? So if it's a conspiracy theory, then let's prove it or disprove it. I mean, but we can't even talk about it. That's what makes it, a conspiracy theory. Don't you think?
Well, I think, okay. I think, though, that, if you go back and you look at anything else we'd mentioned, the Kennedy assassination, the Marilyn Monroe's death, the Roswell thing, I think that anything that gives you more than one,
question.
Yeah. Anytime that it's well, it gives you that little
But when people say to you, oh, stop it, that's just craziness. I mean, does that make it go away? No, because doesn't that kind of make you be like, I'm going to look into this a little bit more and see what else.
But that doesn't make me, no, but see, that for me doesn't make me, if somebody looks at me and goes, oh, that's pish posh, right? That doesn't make me go, oh, it must be more of a conspiracy theory. I think for me, it's just the thing where it's it's so much more about the actual specifics where it's it leaves just enough, just enough to have to question it, right? Yeah. The Roswell thing, it's well, these are such conflicting arguments, right? That one person saying that there was, this bunch of steel thrown about with little green men walking everywhere, and then the army or the navy or
nothing to see here.
It's air balloons. Yeah. It's weather balloons, right? You look at the Kennedy thing and
nothing to see here.
You had these bystanders, and it's been years, so it's right, and everyone remembers something different, but you have these bystanders who are saying, look, I heard gunshots from over there, I heard gunshots from over there. Yeah. I heard 5 shots, I heard 7 shots, I
don't think that's really been settled. Do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Hey, you get so excited about it.
All right, let's wrap this up because we're getting there. But yeah, look, I think that there's things, and we talked about it when we spoke about the JonBenet Ramsey case. I think there's things that we're never going to have answers to.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a weird one.
I think that until I don't think we're gonna ever really truly know who killed Kennedy. I don't think we're ever going to truly know what happened to Marilyn Monroe, or why Bobby Kennedy was shot, or if that kind of shit was planned by the mob. I don't think we're ever going to know what happened at Roswell, unless somebody deep dives and releases these.
One of those little green men come out and start talking to us.
Well, that's the joke, right? It's we're not going to know that aliens, specifically aliens, are real until an alien lands on the Hollywood Hills and walks down and goes, well, this is shit.
Yeah. This is where you guys live? What the fuck?
Try coming to
Really? We love tourists. It reminds me of that. You never watched, I don't know if it was The Twilight Zone, where they're all standing in line. All the Americans are standing in line to get on this spaceship. The aliens have landed. And God, what did they keep saying? They kept saying, oh God, I'm going to have to check it out. It's it's very interesting. It's, the aliens are welcoming the people of Earth into their spaceship. And they keep saying, something like, we like Earthlings or something like that, or, Earthlings are good. And
welcome to dinner.
Oh, exactly. They're eating them is what they're doing. So, but who knew? Anyway.
All right. Have you watched Mayor of Easttown on HBO Max?
I have not, but I plan to do that at some point.
Okay.
I've had a bunch of shit going on in my life. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. You guys know how to find us. If you're listening, you found us.
You found us. That's right.
We're on Instagram at My Mom Sandy Podcast. You guys can also email us, mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com. And questions, comments, concerns, phone numbers.
Make sure you have your masks in your car if you live in LA.
Yep, mask up. By the time that this comes out, you'll be masked up inside.
Ugh.
And
And who knows, by the time we do another one, we may be inside.
Or it might be masked off.
Well, I wonder, I think people will rebel about lockdowns again. You keep in mind that Gavin Newsom could actually change this mask thing. He could executive order, because it's only LA County, so he could executive order that this thing be rescinded. But he's not going to do that. And that's what scares me. The longer he's governor, I think we're going to face this seesaw, up and down with the coronavirus. I don't know that any other states are going through what we're going through.
Everything's open.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, hey, come, you see the fight. They had the fight last Saturday in Vegas. It was packed.
I heard Vegas. I think Vegas is starting to ask people to mask up.
Yeah.
I think Vegas has got a bad...
Again, I don't think that COVID is, to wrap this up to final thought, Josh and Sandy's final thought, I don't think that COVID's going anywhere.
Didn't we say that on a previous podcast?
Josh and Sandy's final thought? That should be the next. After we get to 100, we'll start a new podcast.
Okay.
Josh and Sandy's final thought.
There you
go. COVID's not going anywhere, and I think that you have to realize that, and you have to have it be something that's like, hey, where numbers are going to fluctuate. Numbers are going to go up, numbers are going to go down, I think that as long as we're not back to where we were in December, where, it was like 25,000 people dying a day, I think we're doing okay, I
don't think we ever had, not in LA, not in California, 25,000?
No, there was remember when it was like, oh, if you were like sick and you had to go to the hospital, like the ambulance drivers could be like, I'm not going to take you.
We're not going to take you.
That was scary. Things were getting scary, But I think
well, I've heard that on this time around that the CDC has instructed people, the record keeping to be flawed, and what they've instructed doctors and hospitals to do is that if you've had the vaccine and you get COVID, you don't report it as a breakthrough COVID case. If you have to go to the hospital, that's a different story. But so basically you wouldn't report if somebody's been vaccinated but they test positive for COVID, you don't report it as a new COVID case.
Right.
But if you're not vaccinated, then they're reporting it. So it kind of skews what's really going on. I mean, it would be nice to know, like these 427 people that are in the hospital, do they have comorbidities? What age group are they? You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice.
What are comorbidities?
Like heart problems, diabetes.
I thought that was a band that used to tour with the Shoulders. Comorbidities?
No, they're part of the Fentonlesians. That's it. Fentonlesians.
That's an alien race. The Fentonlesians.
The Fentonlesians.
Fentonlesians.
Oh, anyway.
All right, let's go home.
All right, so you know how to get in touch with us?
I literally just told him that.
My Mom Sandy Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep, I told him that, yeah. Told him about our Instagram.
And we'll see what's going on next week in the fun lives of Josh and Sandy.
Josh and Sandy.
My Mom Sandy.
Josh and Sandy.
All right, very good.